Looks like a major collapse for the real estate market. Trillions of dollars are about to be printed, as well as the banks prepare for total collapse. We need to dive into what happened with the ETF as well. Pretty bullish, but we do need to unpack it. So jumping into real estate straight away, because this will affect Bitcoin. This is the news with the fast facts. The New York City commercial real estate meltdown has begun. An office building built in 2019 next to Penn Station recently sold at a foreclosure auction for 16 mil. This is very shocking, given the seller of the building reportedly spent 90 mil to develop the property. According to sources, New York office occupancy is at a dismal 40+%, while an increasing amount of owners have handed keys back to lenders. Deals at huge discounts have yet to hit the market, but it seems like it's just a matter of time before that happens. If real estate does collapse, it's about to get very wild. We'll get into it again shortly. I want to jump straight into this video. Jack Mallers is a baller, absolutely insane. This is incredibly articulate, and he talks about how much money is going to be printed over the next 2 years. So Jack Mallers explains on national television, while the US government will be forced to print trillions of dollars over the next 2 years, it's over, man. Bitcoin is going to the moon. They cut him off. It's 2 minutes and 25 seconds. It's worth watching the whole thing. So we are going to, I'll break it up about halfway through, but what he says should get you pretty excited for what's coming. Obviously the CEO of Strike, and then we'll jump into Strike. They've just made Bitcoin legal. Not legal, they've rolled it out in 35 countries, I believe, but we'll play this video. Let's go.
So what do you see? What's the future, the near term and the longer term future that you envision for Bitcoin?
Oh my gosh, this thing's going to hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin, Charles. I mean, the U.S. government is in
hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin. I think that's just in the short term.
So much debt. The way I think about Bitcoin's price equals technology plus fiat liquidity.
Technology plus fiat liquidity, that's very important, the liquidity part, because a huge amount of liquidity is about to be injected into the market.
So it's going to go up because it's innovative tech and it's better money. But what really shoots it up at a neck-breaking pace is when our government is tens of trillions of dollars in debt and has to roll that debt over. So they got a lot.
Tens of trillions of dollars of debt, and they have to roll that debt over. Continue listening.
Money to print, and financial assets are going to soar. And Bitcoin goes up the most because it's the hardest to make more of.
Bitcoin goes up the most because it's the hardest to make more of, along with the halving that's coming up with the BlackRock ETF, along with everyone else that has launched an ETF.
It's over, man. This thing's going to the moon.
You know,
it's over, man. This thing's going to the moon. What a line,
so
hey?
Interesting, too, because it's not just the U.S. I was just reading today, globally,
This is on mainstream news in the U.S. Absolutely fascinating.
Countries, these advanced nations with all this fiat currency are going to have to spend $2 trillion on the interest alone, and they won't stop spending, Jack. They just won't stop spending money, and it's coming back to haunt them, and it's coming back to maybe people realizing fiat currency is not the place to be, huh?
People are realizing fiat currency is not the place to be. I just want to say, if you're here now, well done. Hopefully you're stacking hard, you're stacking the sats, because we are in the middle of a debt spiral. Over to you, Jack.
Charles, this would be my message to America. Give me a second on this one. Guys, the U.S. government's got about $10 trillion over the next 2 years to roll over, refinance. That's debt. Our country
$10 trillion that they need to roll over, refinance. It just keeps getting more bullish for Bitcoin. Not really good for the economy, full stop, but good for Bitcoin.
Country's in debt. It's a huge problem. They got three options. One, they could pay it back. It's not a real option because we don't got the money. We're broke. Two, our government could come out, Charles, and say, you know what, guys, we screwed up. After World War II, we changed the way money worked. We got off the gold standard. We issued debt all over the place. We got way too cocky. And actually, all of our banks don't have your money. They're insolvent. All the airlines you fly and travel on aren't actually good businesses that should be in business. Healthcare shouldn't actually be free. We screwed up. We piled on so much debt and screwed up the younger generation, and we're in huge.
Imagine if they said that healthcare shouldn't be free, we screwed up. Never going to happen. But imagine if they did. I would suspect there'd be revolution overnight. Just really quickly, if you can smash the like button right now, it does help get this video out while we are live. That would be greatly appreciated. We've got so much to cover.
Huge trouble. So we're going to have to let everything fail and reset this country. Now, they're not going to do that, are they, Charles? They have third option, which is unique to the government.
Get ready for it. This is the bombshell. This is what we're waiting for. We saw it last time. We're going to see it again.
They could print the money that they're missing.
They could print the money that they're missing. 100% that's going to happen. Just on a side note, was it the Fed or the US government just got audited and they were missing like $3 billion again in their military budget or for military spending? Interesting, hey?
And when they print the money that they're missing, they're stealing from all the people that hold US dollars. And so what they'll have to do is print dollars. And the only way to save yourself is own not dollars. And that's when you see things like the S&P 500 and gold and Bitcoin soar.
Just this last part's pretty awesome. He just cannot cut him off.
And so that's what's going to happen over the next 2 years. They got to print 3 times more than they did during COVID.
I love your enthusiasm, Jack. We're going to bring you back. We really do love your enthusiasm and your message. Thanks a lot for sharing it with us. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, my man.
All right, buddy. So what do you see?
What a baller. He's like, no, let me run. I want to speak. He had so much to say. So obviously the presidential campaign is going on in I'm going to screw it up. Argentina. Voting for the next president of Argentina has begun. Sergio Massa is the symbol of inflation, corruption, the continuing effect of fiat currency. Javier Milei stands for sound money, freedom, Austrian economics, and Bitcoin. Expect election results around 9 p.m. today. The way that this presidential candidate was greeted, absolutely fantastic. Where we are in space and time, 5:52 a.m. Block height, 817,539. Sats per dollar. The time is right. Oh, fantastic. It's gone up well and truly this morning since I started researching. $37,019. Sats has gone down. Bitcoin's price, sorry. And then Sats per dollar has gone down dramatically, 2,700. And one. Unfortunately, this number is going to keep shrinking and shrinking. Red days are for buying, green days are for chilling. Just want to say, Bitcoin Evangelism, Brian Dimon watches the show. He wrote this book, Bitcoin Evangelism. I'll just show you real quickly. He is sponsoring the show today, but he hates ads, so we are going to get onto it straight away. Link below in the description. It's a bloody good book. I've been recommending it for many, many, many months, ever since I started reading it. Wow. South Korea's National Pension Fund buys $19.9 million worth of Coinbase shares. Pretty interesting, considering Coinbase will be the settlement layer for the Bitcoin spot ETF. Now, central banks around the world are starting to panic. The Dutch Central Bank just said the thing CBs never say. The secret of their gold position lies in the fact that when the collapse happens, its value will automatically skyrocket. Next question, how much is enough Bitcoin for a central bank to have? I'm not going to pronounce that name, I'm going to get it wrong. Because you could also say if it's a kind of insurance, for example, if the financial system collapses, whatever, shouldn't you have a lot more? Hubin, you could think like that. I think it's more than enough, because if everything collapses, then the value of those gold reserves shoot up, it skyrockets. There's a point to this, it relates very strongly to Bitcoin. Second, you don't have to fully cover it. That's what experience shows. Full coverage is only necessary in a country where there are no other mechanisms to support confidence in the central bank. Bitcoin is digital gold. It's gold for a digital revolution. It's also the world's hardest, scarcest asset. It's the best form of money that's ever been engineered. Yes, they're stacking Bitcoin, they're stacking gold at the moment. But if we do get this financial collapse, and we've got a few more things to jump into, Bitcoin's absolutely going to skyrocket, along with the ETF, the halving, trillions of dollars being printed. We don't want to see, we do not want to see a total financial collapse, but it is looking more and more likely. Now, is Milei going to win today's Argentina election? Obviously, everyone's very excited, a Bitcoiner at heart. Strike rolls out Bitcoin purchase to users globally. Obviously, we just covered Jack Mallers. Bitcoin app company is also partnering with BitRefill. I've actually got a link below. You do get Bitcoin back. I wouldn't encourage you to swap your Bitcoin for dirty fiat, but if you've got dirty crypto, you can swap it for dirty fiat, and BitRefill is a good way to be able to do that. And KYC free to allow, so you buy gift cards with it. I use it in the States. It's pretty bloody awesome. Especially in America, it is really good. I've been using it for Amazon gift cards and stuff for a very long time. To allow customers to pay for goods via the Lightning Network. So, Strike has expanded its service using 36 countries, soon to be 65, beyond the US to buy Bitcoin through the app. We're rolling out a highly anticipated feature that Bitcoiners worldwide have requested for years, Mullers wrote. Now Strike users around the globe can experience these buying Bitcoin directly through our platform. Pretty bullish. Now, in regards to the Bitcoin ETF delay, we've seen the price go up a little bit, actually, which is fantastic. The market was prepared for this. Obviously, on the channel, we've been saying for a long time that it wasn't going to happen this year. It is going to be January 10th or just before. I believe it's going to be after Christmas. The SEC is on holidays during December most of the time, because it's the holiday season. I don't know if they've got any family there to celebrate it with, but maybe they all get together and go to, I don't know, Jekyll Island, potentially, for a few Mai Tais. So the SEC delays decisions on Franklin Templeton and Global X Spot Bitcoin ETFs. The moves were expected and aren't having any immediate effect on the Bitcoin price. Actually, a couple of bullish things that came out of it below as well. Must be the next article. We'll get into it. So, report of the SEC's spot Bitcoin ETF advice fuels hope for the approval. What they've come out with is actually really good for the markets. A lot of people don't really like it. Andy Surfer, g'day brother. It is good to see you, mate. This Andy guy is always trolling me in the comment section, calling me Michael Hutchins, Michael Hutchins. Michael Hutchins, good looking dude, so I'll take it, appreciate it. Bloody lot to live up to, though. Anyway, crypto industry views it as real progress. The SEC. It's funny, when I see Securities and Exchange Commission, I automatically think SEC. Has reportedly provided specific guidance to exchanges seeking to list and trade spot Bitcoin ETFs on what they should do next. This is real progress, said one crypto exchange. Inside of the cash versus in-kind debt looks to be finding clarity. So Bloomberg ETF Eric Bellahanus shared on social media, hearing chatter, the SEC Division of Trading and Markets engaged in discussions with exchanges this week, advising them to use the cash creation method instead of the in-kind method for spot Bitcoin ETFs. Moreover, the securities regulator reportedly asked exchanges to file amendments to reflect this change in the next couple of weeks. How interesting that they are going to them and they're asking them to make the changes that are going to help them go through the approval process. So, ETF units can either be in kind or in cash. In cash creation, authorized participants provide cash to the ETF issuer in exchange for the new ETF units. ETF analyst noted that cash creates makes sense in his opinion because broker dealers can't deal in Bitcoin, so doing cash creates put onus on issuers to transact in Bitcoin and keep broker dealers from having to use unregistered subsidiaries or third-party firms to deal with Bitcoin. He added that it's less limitations for them overall. Only 2 to 3 filers have planned cash creates, the rest want to do in kind, so they may have to adjust or risk delay. They're not going to risk delay, that's for sure, so we are going to see them refiling or making the amendments there to their filing applications. Emphasising that this development doesn't change their 90% odds up or down on spot Bitcoin ETF, he said it's a good sign that the approval process is progressing. The SEC has a path forward in the plumbing that they're comfortable with. So this is real progress. The cash versus in-kind debate looks to be finding clarity. For reference as well, the Canadian spot ETFs have been using the cash create model for years now. If it works for Canada, Canada's just a little US. In the words of Greg Foss, or paraphrasing Greg Foss, who we've had on the channel. Maybe we need to get him back on here and talk about this ETF as well. It's probably a good idea. But if Canada does it, then the US can do it. And maybe Canada was a trial run for the US. Now, US presidential candidate vows to protect Bitcoin from government interference. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Vivek Ramaswamy before on the channel. I just want to bring up a couple of things that he said in the Natalie Brunell podcast the other day. Another lady that I've had on, amazing interview, so check that one out after this video. US presidential candidate Vivek says the government is threatened by the existence of Bitcoin, emphasizing that if the cryptocurrency becomes more popular, it would create a threat to the incumbent status of the US Federal Reserve itself. Fantastic. That's what we want. Join the peaceful revolution, stack sats, chill. Because as the world melts down, and if we don't get a total financial collapse this year or next year or the year after, there is one coming. They continually kick the can down the road. The cotillion effect. We will get into it. They print all this money, it goes out to the plebs, and then it goes to the people with value, or the people that know how to extract resources. They put into hard assets, and then everyone else is screwed. They are just sorting out themselves, their progeny. So we need to make the most of it while this opportunity is here, because hyperinflation is happening in many places around the world. Huge amounts of inflation are happening everywhere around the world. It's only a matter of time, and it's only separated by degrees. So Bitcoin's that peaceful revolution. That's why it's so important. I had a tweet the other day. I'll bring it up. It went viral for me. But what I said, I had a conversation. I was at a party on Saturday night. Started talking to a guy. He's like, what do you do? I said, I talk about Bitcoin. He's like, oh, yeah. And then I started talking to him about it, and pretty much called it a scam. I said, BlackRock's launched an ETF. He's like, what's the symbol? I said, it's not out yet. I said, you can buy Bitcoin and self-custody now. I said, no, I'll wait for the ETF. And I asked him why he wouldn't do it then. And then he told the silly joke, which I won't repeat here, to be able to change the subject. But people are waiting for the Bitcoin ETF, but they don't understand it now. We're here, we're early, we're ready for it. But people are going to flock into this because it is the world's hardest, firmest asset. So I'd get ready for something that we haven't seen before. But it's either Bitcoin or experience inflation, and we're stuffed. I'm stacking hard, waiting for it to go to the moon. And it's just a matter of time. And what I was getting at, it's only a matter of time till the rest of the world collapses. It's already happening. Some places a lot quicker than others. Obviously, Argentina is really bad. Australia, it's bad, but not really bad. The US, it's bad, but not really bad. Canada, it's bad, but not really bad. New Zealand, it's bad, but not really bad. But it's still sick because most people are asleep to the fact that the world's soundest money exists. And they're not willing to read the books because they just want to eat the bugs. It's crazy. Absolutely bloody crazy. Anyway, got a few more things to get into. Vivek, so he promised to ensure the government is staying the heck out of the business of those who are innovating if he's elected president. I hope he is. I have reached out to him. If anyone has contact with Vivek, I'd love to have him on the channel. US presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy discussed a number of topics, including Bitcoin in an interview with Natalie Brunell. My view on the promise of Bitcoin is an opt-out from the broken financial architecture created by the US Federal Reserve System. I've also got a major documentary. It's not a major, it's a short film. It's pretty bloody epic when I was in the States that I filmed in my spare time about the total manipulation all the way from before World War I, through World War I, World War II, 2008, 2020, the lies and manipulation of the Federal Reserve. So hit subscribe. That will be coming out hopefully next week. It is off to the editor today. Anyway, back to the show. While emphasizing that he wants to fight for the dollar to remain the reserve currency of the world, Ramaswamy stressed that there are two ways of doing it. This is actually a really good take. One is if you are really insecure about your own value proposition, you may try to smash out the competition, he said, adding, I look at it the other way. I think the existence of Bitcoin holds the dollar's feet to the fire to make sure that it cannot be manipulated in a way that people do not just opt out and go to the other direction. Bitcoin is hope. He said it there. The Federal Reserve is panicking. It's a way to opt out from the broken financial architecture created by the US Federal Reserve. It's broken by design, truly. This is incredible. I will keep the sound off while it's going through. Preston Pish posts this. I'll repost it for you. It's a good one to be able to understand, see the conviction of the market, because once this ETF comes out, there's no supply at all. It's at an all-time low on exchanges. And for the first time ever, more than 70% of all Bitcoin has been hodled for more than 1 year. 70% has been hodled for more than a year. Absolutely crazy. For anyone that understands the importance of whale conviction and market prices, they should be taking note. Hectic. Absolutely hectic. We've got no supply and we're getting a demand shock. Another reason to be able to stack Bitcoin. This has got some funny music underneath, so I won't play it, but I won't play the sound, but I will read it. But this is the context here. So head of the Digital Management Director for the IMF says they're quickly moving towards the CBDC and a digital currency. He slips and says it's all about control, all about surveillance. With programming, they restrict access to your money will expire. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Bear with me with my voice. I'll try keep up. It's a very quick video, 19 seconds. He says a lot of words. Let's go. By programming, CBDCs, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use. This money can be utilized, for example, for food. So this potential programmability can help government agencies to precisely target their support to those people who need support by programming CBDCs. There we go. Pretty crazy. Head of Digital Management Director for the IMF says they can be used to program, to target, to be able to shut off, to be able to shut down, to be able to choose what you can and cannot buy. This is why we need Bitcoin. This is why the revolution. It's not just about owning Bitcoin. You can buy it in the ETF. That's coming up. That's quote unquote, it is real Bitcoin, but you don't want that. You want to hold Bitcoin. You want to put it in self-custody. Write your seed words on steel. You can use Seedor. They're probably the best. Otherwise, that's off Amazon. It's like $6 or something. Otherwise, use Seedor. That's a bloody good cheap option. Seedor is probably the sophisticated option. If you're holding generational wealth, take the time, spend the money, protect it properly, because you need to deal with these people. And it's going to protect you against the WHO as well. Soon the WHO will roll out the global health certificate the G20 committed to. It will list vaccinations the WHO decided are needed for you to travel, all attached to your digital ID and eventually your carbon allocation. You did not vote for this. People have asked me to stop with conspiracy theories. I have taken that on board. Let me know in the comments if this conspiracy theory is literally coming from the WHO. But if you don't want to see this, let us know and I will take heed. I think it's important and it gives us a reason to be able to understand what we are doing here with Bitcoin. So I will play this video. It's a minute 28, 6:09 a.m., 69. We love that number here on the channel. Make sure you hit like. It will get this video out to more people. Greatly appreciate it. Let's go.
While the emergency phase of the COVID-19 pandemic is now over, investments in digital infrastructure remain an important resource for health systems and for
let us know what you think of this. This is absolutely wild.
Economies and societies at large. Like many countries, the European Union made significant investments in COVID-19 certificates to help people move around as safely as possible during the pandemic. The European Union's certification system was used by all 27 EU member states and more than 50 other countries.
How insidious is this? Like, this is absolutely crazy. I'll keep playing it.
On the success of the EU system, WHO is proud today to launch the Global Digital Health Certification.
I get bloody goosebumps hearing this, not in a good way either.
Network. So thank you so much to European Union for the excellent certification system that you have transferred to us, and we have the chance to build on it. WHO will begin operations of the network today with the existing COVID-19 certificate as a global public good.
A global public good. Thank you. I didn't vote for it. I didn't ask for it. I don't want it. Is there any chance to opt out? Yes, we've got Bitcoin. It's probably your last chance at freedom long term.
Soon after, we will expand this infrastructure by incorporating other uses such as a digitized international certificate of
a digitized international certificate of vaccination. You want to go anywhere, you want to do anything, you need to show them your government piece of paper.
Vaccination, routine immunization cards.
Routine and immunization cards. And we won't dive into it, but everything that's coming out in regards to what happened a couple of years ago, it's all a farce. It is all about control, it's all a trial, and it's just number one of many to come.
And international patient summaries.
Cyber Dude, that comment is absolutely awesome. I'm starting to think these global organizations don't have our best interest in mind, neither do I. I'll lay off the troll and I enjoy your work. I love it, Andy. Truth bombs, it's absolutely fantastic. So let's just jump into what the market's been doing. 1.45 trillion. It feels like we've been stuck here for ages, hey? Do want to see it get to 1.5 and then 3 trillion. The other day, we were talking about $25 trillion coming into the market. Jack Mallers is talking about trillions of dollars coming in the market in the next couple of years. It's not a conspiracy theory when we hear the words coming from the horse's mouth. Fantastic, so I can keep going with it. Do find it interesting because it allows us to build our conviction of why Bitcoin is so important to hold in self-custody. Please do the right thing. Get it off exchanges, hold it in self-custody. And your seed needs to be on steel or something other than paper, something that's going to last through fires, floods, earthquakes, whatever it is. Bitcoin price here. I don't think this is current. Let me just update here. So we are pretty much at an all-time high in the last 24 hours or just under. We're at 369. I love those numbers. My favorite numbers in the world are 369, then 1111. But anyway, 36,995. Last 24 hours, 37,016. That happened obviously just before while we were live, and lower 36,412. Anything above 35,000 strong. Short term, if it drops below, it's a bloody good opportunity to be able to stack. We can have a look at the heat map here. This one is a little bit higher. So why didn't this one refresh? Let's see which one's wrong. I don't know. I like this number. I don't know, actually. I like the lowest numbers better, but somewhere between 369 or 36,900 and 37,159. So it is starting to pop, going up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you do hit subscribe. If you can hit the like for us, that's the number one greatest thing you could do for the channel. Say g'day in the comments. You're all bloody legends. We'll see you on the next video. Be blessed. Peace.